Hello and welcome to the first ever lesson, so to speak, on the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. What I'm going to talk today is specifically with regards to the limited insolvency examination for which you've enrolled or you're going to enroll. Nonetheless, this particular lesson will also be useful to other practitioners, company secretaries, chartered accountants, cost accountants, and advocates to understand the background in an interesting way. All right. I'm going to send a text of whatever I'm talking about or whatever you see on the screen. I'm going to send this to all of you separately. That work is in progress, but I didn't want to waste precious time. So here goes. Well, insolvency and bankruptcy laws arrived in India very late. To give you an idea, okay, in England, the first official laws concerning bankruptcy happened in the year 1542 under His Majesty Henry VIII. And if you see United States, the first official bankruptcy law was enacted in 1800. And then there's a history to all of the rest of the story. But in India, it came a bit late. As you can see from the very nomenclature of the law, we are talking about something that happened in the year 2016 and then enacted a little later than that. Now, there is an Urdu Persian proverb which says "Der ay durust ay," from the Persian proverb "Der ayad durust ayad," which in English loosely means better late than never. But there is another way to interpret that. "Der ay durust ay" also means you came late, but you came well prepared. Durust means well prepared, robust. So it arrived in India late, but it arrived in such a way that it had the benefit of learning from what works and what does not work in geographies from around the world. Now, here's an interesting story. What is actually the meaning of bankruptcy? And you can read it here. As I said, I'm going to send you this text in a while. It originates from the Italian phrase bancarotta. It means broken bench. Now, since bankers were known to work from wooden benches, one presumes that whenever the bank closed or they left, it just meant the bench is broken. Another version attributes it to the French phrase banquet route. I hope the pronunciation is right, which translates to tracing the table, which again means bankers used to work once upon a time from a table and then suddenly they're not there, and all that is left is a board or a sign, a nameplate, and nobody else is there, which means they must have vanished. So the background of the very word bankruptcy can be traced back to the Italians and the French, and the name just stuck. So what is insolvency? And what is the difference between these two terminologies, insolvency, bankruptcy? You have to understand this very, 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 very well. Generally, and there's a general description, a definition, worldwide, insolvency is a state of affairs, of course, financial, economical, and money related, when an individual or a body corporate or any other organization cannot meet its financial obligations for paying debts as they fall due or become due, or the condition of a person who is unable to pay his debts when they fall due in the usual course of trade and business. Inability to meet debts in time in the usual course of trade and business. Let me elaborate on this. Usual course. So you'll understand during times of corona, it is not a usual course. These are uncertain times. But when times were good, when times are normal, when it's not wartime, and if you are not able to meet your debt, if you're not able to discharge your debts and obligations, then you are known to be looking at insolvency. Now, bear in mind, this is a very general definition for you to understand. What is the meaning of bankruptcy? We've already seen the origin of the word earlier. Now, bankruptcy is not to be confused with insolvency, as they're different. And you will understand when you come up to speed with the insolvency and bankruptcy code. Well, technically, bankruptcy is a consequence, as in it happens after a court has decreed insolvency and given legal orders pursuant to a failure to arrive at a resolution. Let me make it simple. When you are unable to meet your debt, you're said to be insolvent. You're given an opportunity to fix that, which is called a resolution. If you're not able to do that even then, and then that's when you're declared a bankrupt eventually. So insolvency describes a situation where the debtor is unable to meet his obligation. Bankruptcy goes further and can be understood to be the final nail in the coffin. What bankruptcy is to an individual, liquidation is to a body corporate. In other words, for individuals, it's called bankruptcy. For body corporate companies, LLPs, it's called liquidation. To give you another analogy from life, you go to a hospital, you're admitted. Now that's insolvency in insolvency law. From there, you shifted to an ICU because you're serious, suddenly serious now. And the condition is very morbid. Now that's called bankruptcy. Now it is possible to come back from the ICU back to a normal ward. It is possible to come back from liquidation or come back from bankruptcy to a normal situation, and that is what the whole code is all about. So what's your homework for now? You will do well to give these words a thorough read, research, and understanding. Bear with me here. I'm going to repeat. Read, research, understand. What? Insolvency, bankruptcy, liquidation. Do not come back to this class expecting a magic potion or a magic wand to be swung around. You will have to come to this class slightly better prepared than me, who's your instructor. And I will try to come to this class far better prepared than you, who are the candidates for the examination. That way our relationship will stand the test of time. Now, they're all different for the purposes of the insolvency and bankruptcy code, and you're required to be able to differentiate one from the other. That's your homework for today. You need to differentiate insolvency from bankruptcy from liquidation. Okay. Now, what is the object of insolvency and bankruptcy laws as per the insolvency and bankruptcy code? Let's come back to the point straight away. Okay, by the way, in my text, if you see these 5 stars, okay, pay attention. These 5 stars, if you see this anywhere in the text, it means you're going to get a question from that. Okay, so here, if you see these 5 stars, I can nearly assure you, you will get a question, a multiple choice question from here. So pay special attention. The objective of the insolvency and bankruptcy code is to consolidate and amend the laws relating to reorganization and insolvency resolution of corporate persons. Consolidate and amend. Bear this in mind. Why are we saying we are going to consolidate and amend the laws? Okay, I'll come to that. Of corporate persons, partnership firms, individuals, in a time-bound manner for maximization of value of assets of such persons. And then to promote entrepreneurship, to make credit easily available, to balance out the interests of all stakeholders. And what you need to bear in mind here is India has done something really remarkable. They have subordinated government dues far below everybody else and just above equity stakeholders. To put it in layman's terms, government says pay us last, pay everybody else, and that's a phenomenal move in a country like India. Okay, an effective legal framework for timely resolution of insolvency and bankruptcy, which means having the right adjudicating authority, having a board, so on and so forth. So coming back, what is the object? What is the objective? Here it goes. Reorganization and insolvency resolution of corporate persons, partnership firms, and individuals in a time-bound manner for maximization of value of assets of such persons. To promote entrepreneurship, to make credit easily available, to balance the interests of all the stakeholders, including making government dues less, I would not say less important, but lower in priority to all other dues. To establish an insolvency and bankruptcy board of India, which is done. and for matters connected herewith or incidental hereto. So this was a very small lecture. I don't want to take you deeper down in a dive on the very first day. I want you to see something that is not ordinary and mundane. I want you to understand these startling facts that in India it came in 2016, whereas it existed in England in 1542. It existed in the United States in the 1800s. It has come here now, but it has come here in a very robust way. Okay, look for fun facts here. You've today understood that it is different to be insolvent, it is different to be bankrupt, and there is also something called liquidation. You have understood that despite this being the nature of law, the law does not state here that they are here to close you down. Okay, it is not an act to close you down. It is not an act to destroy you. It is an act where actions are put in a time-bound manner. For what? For maximization of value of assets, to promote entrepreneurship, to make money easily available. And in one case, I think Justice Fali Nariman, if I'm not mistaken, in Innovative Industries versus ICICI Bank, he mentioned that it is sometimes also to prevent death of the company at the hands of the promoters who are mismanaging the company, to prevent corporate death, to save the company from its own management. That's a beautiful remark, and we will explore all of these in the 59 case laws that are associated with the examination. In the next lecture, I'm going to tell you about the why, how, when, what, where of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So, I have a request before you come there. Do a bit of your own reading, research, and understanding, because that's the right way to learn any subject. You don't come to a classroom asking the teacher to spoon feed. You come to a classroom with your own raw materials, with your own finished work also, and ask the teacher to merely guide you. So tomorrow when I come to you, you need to already know a little bit more than what you know today. I'm going to send you these 3 pages, probably 4 pages for you to study after this, and then you guys are on your own. Okay, I've tried to make this interesting. Okay, I have borrowed from literature here, Race, Milieu and Movement, and it is a theory by a French critic called Mr. Time, and I have done a jugalbandi of sorts between various other subjects and this subject to make it interesting. I hope to send you this text for your own homework. I hope to see you again tomorrow. I hope to keep this interesting, but I can only do as much as possible provided you take significant interest. Thank you so much. See you on the other side very soon.